I'm standing before you because I would love to be the next governor of this state. And my pledge to you is that from day one, I will do everything I can to create, retain, and attract jobs for the state of Wisconsin. That will be my priority. Because I want, just as you want, I want jobs now. That's what this is about. What it's about? Jobs. You got it. You got it. So this is something I come to not as a stranger. Phil talked about Milwaukee and what I did in Milwaukee. When I came in as mayor of Milwaukee, I knew that we had to work to create jobs in southeastern Wisconsin because we had seen so many jobs leave. So I reached out. I reached out to suburban leaders, to rural leaders, to the private sector, and said we have to work together to create and retain and attract jobs. And I want to tell you a story because it'll tell you how you get this done. It was about a year and a half ago, and the CEO of Republic Airlines was sitting in my office, and they had just finished purchasing Midwest Express. And he said that they were going to now talk about where they were going to put some jobs, some mechanics jobs, some back office jobs, some sales jobs. And I said, we want them here in Wisconsin. He said, well, you're in competition. You're in competition with Denver and Indianapolis. So this is the real world. This is the real deal. This is not a magazine talking about the 10 best places to do business in the country. It's not about a conservative think tank saying how lousy things are in Wisconsin. This was a real CEO that was going to decide where real jobs were going to go. And we were in competition. And I will always remember the Indianapolis newspaper that just dismissed Wisconsin and said, obviously, this is a competition between Denver and Indianapolis. But you know what? We were proactive, we were positive, and we were aggressive because I deal in the real world. And what we did is we put together a package working through the Milwaukee 7. And we had tax credits that were tied to job creation. And I want to thank the state legislators who are here who recognize that. You have the guys on the other side that talk about all these tax cuts for corporations. I want tax cuts that go to create jobs. That's what I want. That's what I want. If you tie them to creating jobs, we're going to talk about it. So we had them tied to job creation. We had site selection. We had workforce development. And I'll tell you what happened at the end of the day. We ran the table. All 800 jobs that were in Wisconsin that were in play, we retained. 700 jobs are moving here from Denver and Indianapolis. And you know how that happened? It happened because we were proactive, we were aggressive, and we were positive. And what do we have on the other side? We've got two guys that love to talk about how lousy Wisconsin is. Imagine this, the guys that want to be the #1 salesperson, ambassador, and cheerleader for this state saying how lousy the state is. Well, I'll tell you this, you don't sell a car, you don't sell a dress, you don't sell a house by saying how lousy it is. You talk about what's good about your state, and you love your state. I know we've got problems. I know here in Rock County we've got problems. There's no community that has been hit harder than Janesville. But I'll tell you this, because I've seen it around this state. What I've seen in every community in this state are people still believe in their families. They still believe in their communities, and they still believe in the state. So when I hear these guys talk about believe in Wisconsin again, I'm here to tell you I've talked to thousands of people who have never stopped believing in Wisconsin. And that's what's going to get us out of this. Now, do we have work to do? You bet we've got work to do. We know we've got work to do right here in Janesville. And some of the previous speakers talked about this. We've got issues at the national level. And you can have big PhD economists who come and talk about it. You can have people of all these finance degrees talk about it. I'm going to cut to the chase. We need to make more stuff in this country. That's what we need to do. We need to make more stuff in this country. 50 years ago, what you needed to succeed in this community were two things, a strong back and a good alarm clock, because we had jobs where people could go in there, blue-collar jobs, and they could support their families. But we know what happened. Those jobs first started moving to the southern states, then to Mexico, then to China, and now throughout the Pacific coast. We need policies at the national level that are going to make sure that Americans can have jobs where they can support their families. And that's what I'm going to fight for as your governor. That's what we have to do. That's what we have to do right now. Now, I've been around public service for a long time, and I have to tell you, I'm watching what's going on this year, and they have already thrown down the gauntlet. On the other side, they've already thrown down the gauntlet. They are so cocky. They are so overconfident that they are measuring the drapes and they are ordering the stationery right now. But I want to tell you two things. I know this is a tough time, and I know people are frustrated. And if this is a referendum on whether people are happy or not, I'm voting no. And most of you are voting no as well, because we're not happy. We know we have to do a better job. We know we have to be more aggressive in creating jobs. But I'll also tell you this. As frustrated as people are, in my 10 months going throughout this state, I have not found one person, and I'm not exaggerating, I have not found one person who has said to me, let's go back to the George Bush policies. Not a single one. Not a single one. So let's not let the people in this state, let's not let the people in this country forget who drove this car into the ditch in the first place. It was those policies that drove the car into the ditch. So here's our challenge. They're saying on the other side right now, they got nothing to worry about because we're not going to come out and vote, because we're frustrated. Well, we are frustrated, but that's not the issue. The issue isn't whether we're frustrated or not, because we are. The issue is whether we are going to come out and vote. And they're betting against every person here that you're not going to get out and vote, that you're not going to organize your friends, that you're not going to organize your neighbors. And you know what I need? I need you to prove them wrong. I need you to get out there to vote, to get your friends out there to vote, and to move this country forward. So we've got a long way to go. The election is 8 weeks from now, but we're going to do this. We can get it done. Thank you, Janesville. Thank you, Rock County. Solidarity. Let's move forward.